Hey, everyone. Dr. Kennard, myself, and with me is Dr. Tom Foolery, cryptologist extraordinaire. Hello, Doctor.
Thank you for having me, Doctor.
Certainly, Doctor. I think we should have a cryptologist convention.
Yeah, not sure if anyone would know what we're talking about, though.
Well, we would give out pamphlets. Maybe connect the dots, search words. But here's a twist to the search words for our cryptologist convention. There would be nonsense words, right? So yeah, I think it would be a big hit doing the cryptologist convention. So have you thought about what? So what I've been talking about, trying to figure out what my thesis has been in cryptology. Have you given any consideration on what your thesis was?
Trying to figure out how to obfuscate what cryptology is.
Oh, hey, I like that. I like that a lot. We should have a cryptologist journal too. We could just blow this whole fucking thing up. That's what I'm saying right now. We just blow it up. The pyramid-shaped world. I don't know. Maybe cryptology means the real stuff. I mean, I'm not really sure. I don't know. We'd have to get what is it? One of those word people to figure out what we mean. So hey, Kendra, how's it going? I, Dr. Kennard, I am just muddling through the day. That's what I am. And Dr. Osiris, so many doctors here. So many doctors. And John Hudson is out mowing the lawn. So we have Dr. Osiris, which I still think sounds like a pretty awesome 1950s golden age DC character. Kind of like Dr. Light, maybe theoretically. How you doing, Theo? And Dr. Tom Foolery's here. So yeah. We have the holy trinity of doctors and doctors, as the case would be. Oh my effing God, Kendra. Right? So what did you think of it, Kendra? I mean, I know that I was like, wow, pretty I was yeah, it affected me quite a bit, the lighthouse. What's up, Rage?
Hey, what's up, yo?
What's up with you being all healthy and shit?
Yeah, I don't know. It's feeling pretty good, man. It's not gonna last for long. They gave me an injection in my right foot that took the pain away temporarily. The test came back inconclusive on tarsal tunnel, so this is his way to check it. He gave a shot right into the artery down there in the ankle, and man, since he gave me that shot, I've had no pain. It's been completely gone.
Okay, so since the test results came back inconclusive, he gave you a shot to help relieve the pain and also to decide whether or not you actually have parsal tunnel. So
it's tarsal tunnel. I call it parsal tunnel sometimes.
Right, because tarsal.
Yeah.
Oh, what? I'm trying to remember my anatomy and physiology class back in the days. That's just a fancy word for toes, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's the vein. You have one major vein that goes down into your foot.
Right.
And so, yeah, that it affects the toes. It affects pretty much everything in your foot. And this vein is swelling up and pressing against a piece of bone in my ankle. So the surgery will take that sliver of bone out of the ankle and allow the vein room to expand and taking away most of my pain. I'll be back to normal. And after having the shot, I believe it because I've been back to normal. I was running circles around the youngins at work this last week.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's great to hear. So it seems like, due to the fact that you reacted to the shot this well, that it's definitely tarsal.
Yeah. And I don't think we had much doubt. They couldn't find, when they were doing the test, it was called like a MIG, a MIG or something like that. They couldn't find the nerve in the bottom of my foot with the electroshock. So that's why it came back inconclusive, because that's the nerve they really needed to check. So we pretty much knew why it was inconclusive, but this was just kind of like, I think he knew what it was, but this is his way of just 100%, because I mean, they're going to cut open my feet. He wants to be 100% positive.
Yeah, dude. So the procedure itself, is it just day surgery, or are you there?
I'm not sure. I know it's going to be quite a recovery. It's going to be 2 or 3 months, a lot of physical therapy. Um, and I'm going to have some scar tissue down there just because of the state of my foot. He already warned me about that. It's gonna look pretty grotesque, but I'll be able to walk.
I feel like this is the time that we ask people to contribute to your Patreon account.
I am a little freaking out about it, but I've been talking to people. There are programs that are going to help me get through it. So but we'll deal with all of that. I go back on August 4th, and I think so far it's pretty conclusive that we know what it is now, and there's a way to fix it. So
that's good. I just want to mention to Tobin that I definitely still want to collab. And now that I'm going to have a lot of time on my hands, I'll be able to get to the work that I've been meaning to get to. It's funny how it's different. And Rach, you know this because you stream as much, if not more than I do, trying to keep everything moving at once in terms of your life, in terms of streaming, in terms of all the projects you really want to do, but you just don't have time for. Well, you don't have the mental space for it.
There's not enough time in the day. Especially if you're trying to work a full-time job, you're a parent, and then trying to stream. So I've cut back on the streaming. I'm not doing as much streams, but I am getting back to the edited work. So it's kind of like you pretty much have to make your sacrifices.
Yeah. I could lose a child, I think. I think that would be, somewhat okay at this point.
Good coffee today.
Oh, good coffee. Yeah, that's good.
So I took some mushrooms 2 nights ago, and fucking yesterday I felt great, and today I feel great, and I'm like, man, this, because I've been reading this science about how that they kind of reset your emotions and stuff, and I never noticed that when I was a kid, just tripping balls, but man, it's been something. I've been quite impressed. I'm not going to do it often, but this might be a thing.
Yeah. Well, that's what electroshock therapy does in theory, is that it just like flicks it on and flicks it off again. It's the flicking switch. And that is definitely, useful for some people. One of my, someone I know had electroshock therapy, and it really helped her depression quite a bit.
Man, I didn't like the electroshock when they were doing it in my legs, and I imagine that is probably a bit more of a shock than what they were doing on my legs.
Right. So, dude, are you microdosing? Do you think you're going to be microdosing?
I ate an eighth. I'm probably not going to do it. Like, I'll give it 10 years, and then I'll reset again. But I was I tripped a lot as a kid. I definitely don't want to get back into doing the whole drug thing. Yeah. But my kid was away. One of my friends had him, and they kept talking for like the last week about how good these damn mushrooms were that they had. And I was like, all right, fuck it. So I bought an eighth and had me a little fun night to myself.
That's good, dude. That's good. Yeah, I've always been afraid because I'm loosely put together, right? Loosely put together mentally, Scotch tape, Band-Aids, paper clips kind of stuff. And I always felt that if I went into hallucinogens, that might not be coming back. Not in the same way, not in the same shape.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I've known some people that had some bad trips. I think everybody should do it once, preferably when you're younger and you're in provide an atmosphere that's going to be a positive vibe, because I mean, that's important when you're going into it. But it does kind of open up things for you in a way, I think, especially. I've been going through a lot of emotional distress. A lot of shit has happening here online. I made a lot of enemies. It seems to like have really done what I wanted it to do. I feel a lot better.
That's good. You feel more centered, more calm. It sounds like.
Yeah, and it was fun.
It was fun. Well, if you can mix therapy in with drug use and fun, get some kind of therapeutic effect, I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I started going to therapy last week, so we're just starting with that, man. And I'm pretty excited about that. I think I have some like deep-rooted PTSD probably from my prison time way back in the day. So yeah, we're gonna get into all my dark secrets. It's gonna be awesome.
That's good. Yeah, I'm a big advocate of talk therapy, and once again, it's we have different. We've talked about this before. We have different processing systems in our brains, right? And just the simple thing of saying it out loud, right? It seems to activate different processing, different ways of processing the information.
Yeah, it's something that I've put off for quite a while. Like I've pretty much known I probably should have been talking to somebody. I do have some anger issues, and that's saying the least. you know.
With me is that I run hot sometimes. Like here, you see calm, cool Andy most of the time. But yeah, I'm also 53 now, so it's a lot different from when I was in my 30s or in my 20s.
Oh yeah,
so I run a lot cooler.
Yeah, and I thought I've had a handle on mine. I come online and I rage, but I don't put holes in the walls anymore because I'm punching walls and seeing red and all of that stuff. So I thought I had a pretty good handle on it. It's just some instances I don't, and that kind of scares me, especially with my kid growing up. I don't want to be some out of control dude as she's going into being a teenager.
Yeah, it's good to get a handle on that before the teen years. Get a handle on it and get a lot of marijuana too to tide you over for the next 6, 7, 8 years.
Oh yeah, lots of weed. In fact, I'm gonna do that now, so I'm gonna turn my camera off.
All right, cool. Glenn, International Media Mystery, how are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Baseline, I think. I'm doing baseline. Yeah. Got a lot of stuff done this morning. And I'm doing okay.
Yeah, I just got back from Costco, and I actually applied for a job there. And because I don't know what's like in the US, but in Canada, they like great benefit packages and really good, in terms of people working there, satisfaction type thing in terms of job satisfaction. So,
I've heard good things about Costco as a company.
Yeah.
If you are going to work there, they, like you said, good benefits, not unreasonable expectations out of workers.
Yeah.
So, I've heard good things about them.
Yeah. And I was, so I was just there, and I need to just update my, or refresh my info because maybe I did it quite a while ago. So yeah, they went through a massive hiring thing from, I think quite a long time ago, especially during COVID. So, they need more people because, people rely on that kind of stuff. So,
I found it because of course I'm looking for jobs right now. This has been a good time in terms for me to find work. If I'm lucky, maybe I'll have a couple of different companies or a couple of different groups, wage some kind of,
bidding war
competition, a bidding war. To get my services. So that would be nice.
Yes. Yeah. You're going to take your talents to, and then have a press conference, right?
Exactly.
Have a LeBron style press conference.
Right. I've decided to sign with this company.
Offering
me the best company. They're offering me the best schedule. And, the best benefits. Yeah.
I also had an interaction because you were talking about, unfortunately, every episode somehow ends up getting of your thing ends up being a COVID story because it's unfortunately prevalent.
Yeah.
And there was this forum that asked, like this article asked, would you be comfortable being in a packed stadium? And this girl I used to work with, she's a lot younger. She's, I think, maybe 21 or 20, right? Maybe about 21 right now. She goes, yes. And I go, well, then expect to be locked down again. And then she goes, LOL. And I'm going, why are you laughing? She goes, because I think you're basically it upended. And she goes, well, why should, I'm young, I'm not getting the vaccine. I'm young. Why should I get it? And on top of all her things that she said that it's an untested vaccine, which it's not because it's a variant of the SARS vaccine, which has been around for over a decade, and all this. And the part why I blocked her was, I'm young. I'm not sick. Why should I get it? And that right there is
all this,
I don't want to bash. Sorry, just give me 2 seconds, Rage. I don't want to bash millennials because I know a lot of them that are hardworking. But when I see shit like that, and I hear shit like that, I go, that is why people look at millennials and look down on them. When you say shit like, you are going to be around someone that can't get the vaccine. And you could get it and not even know it. You could get the disease and not even know it and kill that person.
Sure.
And that just pissed me off. And usually if I had that and I screenshotted it and I screenshotted stuff, I'd usually cross out people's names, like, black out people's names and put it on Facebook. I'm not even going to bother blacking out a name because I want everyone that we're mutual friends with to see how selfish she is.
Rage, what were you gonna say?
Well, I think it's a natural thing that young. I think when we were young, we thought we were immortal, and we weren't going to get majorly sick. But if you look at the numbers right now, all the spikes that we're seeing are generally. It's not like it was when this thing first started, and it was 40 to 80-year-olds with pre-existing conditions. It's 15 to 30-year-olds right now.
Yeah.
That are most of the spike, and it's because of this attitude. I'm young. I don't need to get it. Everybody else can get it. I'll be fine.
Yeah, well, it's not even that. Even if you're not going to get sick, it's been proven that if you that the unvaccinated have got a better chance of catching it. Yeah, the vaccinated, we're going to get it, but we're just not going to get serious effects from it.
I had a psych professor back in the day who said that as you get older, you trade in one set of problems for another set of problems.
Yeah,
they can never really resolve the issues. You just kind of move on to other issues. I would like to spin that into saying that you have certain stupidities at certain ages.
Yeah.
You never get over that stupidity,
Definitely.
but you trade it in for more stupidity.
Yeah. No. But yeah. Like I said, it's not that. Even if it was the original, and you're still on the fact that it's not like you're not going to get that seriously sick. You could kill someone else, and when I confronted her with that, I didn't get one response. I didn't get an LOL because she said my comments were stupid. I'm going, yours are comments, yours are opinions, mine are facts. There's a difference.
Yeah.
I'm basing my viewpoint on facts, not on some. She says it's not a conspiracy. I just don't believe. I don't think why I should get it. Actually, give me a second. I'll tell you exactly what she said because I screenshot it.
Rach, as you're doing like talk therapy, right? You'll see a lot of my responses to be very therapeutic. It's like, what do you mean by that? Tell me more. Because I was listening to, once again, I've been listening to the Atheist Experience and Dillahunty, and both of us have very different styles, right, when it comes to engaging with people. And I'm like more of the therapeutic approach, mostly because of my background. I'm like, tell me more. What does that mean? How does that sound to other people?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, her exact words, I personally don't believe I need to get injected with something that was made overnight. Obviously, like she says she doesn't believe in conspiracy theories, but that is another conspiracy theory, which is quite blatantly obvious. And that was made overnight for a sickness I haven't even gotten. And that for me, like I said, was the final straw. All her other ignorant stuff she said, I can probably get over. But the selfishness is what fucking put me over the edge.
Yeah.
Well, and I think people are just extremely selfish. And I mean, it's bad enough we got a certain percentage of Trumpers that aren't going to get it just based on their political views. When young people think that they don't need to get it because, they could survive anything, it poses a huge problem because, I mean, the next pandemic's just going to be worse as we get farther and farther into this climate change and this world starts to change and we don't know what's in that ice that's melting up there. Human beings are going to have to get used to this. And I think for a long time, it was smallpox and polio. We haven't had something major like this in such a long time that, this should be a wake up call, unfortunately, for a lot of young people. I work with young people and most of the young people at my work are not vaccinated. They don't think they need to be.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, it's I'm just like I said, I've blocked a couple. This is one of the first people I've blocked that I'm actually was, friends with. I worked with her. I looked at her as like a little sister because, she was like, I'd met her when she was like, she was a hostess at this breakfast place I was working at when she was like 17, So I look at her as a little sister, and it's got, I don't mean to sound like really elitist, but it's a lot of people from smaller towns, and they have this in their head. And I had an issue. There was this girl that posted this. I told you a couple months ago. She posted this meme about something, and I go, and when it's a COVID thing, they actually on Facebook they actually have a thing where it says and I go, here, just read, and I put a link to the story, to the PolitiFact story, pointing out like point for point what was the issue, point for point, and I go, and it points out like this meme is so wrong. Here is the source material. Now she still doesn't want to get the vaccine. She's, I can't force people to get the vaccine.
No.
But she at least was okay. Thanks, Glenn. She was responsive. This girl is just, honestly, like I don't mean to think, but small town thinking, and I know it sounds so egotistical, but it just comes off as like, because a lot of small towns are conservative. Smaller towns in Canada, at least where I have been, are conservative. They voted a conservative MPP and a conservative MP in for the last 30 odd years, no matter what they do. And trust me, there was one guy that was going, yeah, the guy that's in right now is so past his sell by there. But that's another story.
There is a reason why most Trump-leaning counties are rural counties.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They have
I posted this meme the other day on Facebook, and it's got a picture of a young woman wearing a Trump hat, and it says, when you mix pro-life with anti-vax, and then it says, she's saying, I don't know fuck about shit.
Yeah. I kind of like a Trump theme meme I saw it's I don't know if it was it just had a picture of Ice-T. It might have been his actual quote, but he goes, stop comparing Trump to the devil. The devil ain't that bad.
I mean, actually, I think the devil's the good guy in the story.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm going, and he's going, the devil ain't that bad, and I'm going, I love that. Like I love that. I might actually. And I was like, you could actually probably make a Pathos story about that.
Oh yeah, there's a lack of material to find inspiration from.
I mean, I've written quite a few stories in my life, and I would definitely say that the protagonist is Satan in that book, and your antagonist is clearly, the whole Yahweh thing.
Yeah,
reminds me of the meme of devil was the first one to advocate for equal rights. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's. I've also seen these, and all these memes, and I don't know how many of them are bots, but I look at them and they seem like real profiles, and you look at some of these, and maybe it wasn't a bot that originally started it, but these people sharing memes, like, now that Gay Pride is over, can we have Straight Pride Month? And I'm going, oh, sweet fucking Lord!
Every month is Straight Pride Month. Even Gay Pride Month is Straight Pride Month. Every second of the 365 days is Straight Pride. And I don't know if you guys saw it. It was a very interesting video where some guy said that because he compared like Black History Month and Black Pride and Asian Pride to White Pride, and he pointed out that there is no such thing as white pride. It's either Anglo-Saxon or Italian or stuff like that. But when you have like Black Pride or something like that, it's because they're celebrating their history, which is a lot of. So it's a very interesting take on how they don't, how white pride is just a goddamn myth, and it is a racist thing because I can't remember where I saw it. If I ever find the video again, I'll send it to you. But I'm sure you've seen it, and it's just, I don't know, like the stupidity of people, and there are stupid people on the left too. Like, I'm not going to say, like, he's better than Trump, but Justin Trudeau isn't exactly a great leader. Like, we've come to realize that. But I've heard that he's not very popular up there.
Well, the thing is, I said it because in the province I live in, Ontario, we had a very unpopular premier, Kathleen Wynne, and she kept on winning, and she won 2 elections after she wasn't very popular. And then she ended up losing to the populist Ford, but she wasn't popular. And then all these people are going, "Oh, she shouldn't have won." I'm going, you put up unelectable morons against her. What do you expect?
Yeah.
You know, she put up, and it was the same thing with Trudeau. They put up this guy Andrew Scheer um, who has had history of anti-gay, anti-choice things, and people go, and he promised, I promise it. And when they ask, so will you try to repeal it? It's the law of the land. That you're not answering the question. And everyone says that Trudeau lies, and Trudeau is not honest. Like he's a politician, but he's not honest at all. And someone said, and then something came up that Andrew Scheer was actually American as well. Now that's not a deal here because you can run if you're dual citizen, you can run, and I think you don't even have to be born in the country as long as you're a citizen in Canada. It's not like the U.S. And so they asked him. It goes, and basically he was going to he was going to denounce his U.S. citizenship and hand it in type thing, or hand in his U.S. passport. And a reporter asked, why didn't you get it? Like, tell us about it. Like, why didn't you? You never asked. You get ahead of that kind of stuff if you're a politician.
Well,
and the thing is
like and let me just butt in here for a minute. When they say something like, when a politician says, "Well, you didn't ask," that's an invitation for abuse.
Yeah,
that's how I feel. And it doesn't matter if they're a politician or not. In my personal life or wherever I am, if a person has the effing balls to tell me that I didn't tell you because you didn't ask me, that's an invitation to tangle. That's what that is.
Well, I wish we had that problem here. The problem here is that the left put up morons and the right, put up people that actually play politics.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, this is like I said, I actually called into a radio station during the running up to the Canadian election, and I said, listen, I don't trust Trudeau, but this guy right here, if he can't even keep his small, like that for me is an insignificant issue on where he was born. Who cares? And if he still has his citizenship, because we don't have the same rules as you do. So I don't care. But if you're not even going to keep your small bullshit straight, you're not even going to be honest about this small shit. We're supposed to trust you running our country.
Yeah.
Now granted, that didn't make a difference to the MAGA morons, but that's another story.
Tell me if I'm wrong on this, but the best chances for the Democrats to do well in the midterm elections is if the Republicans run people who are unelectable, like we were talking about. In other words, that they're just so far to the right that people just turn their backs on them and vote either Democratic or Independent.
Yeah, you are starting to see that a bit. Your more traditional conservatives are now being challenged by just open QAnon supporters. It's insane.
You see, I look at it this way. It depends where you are, because Marjorie Taylor Greene is probably going to get reelected.
Oh yeah,
100%, because she's in a very red district, and unless she gets primaried by a reasonable Republican, where the people go, okay, you know what, like she's completely lost it. They're not, because she raised so much money. Is someone going to have the guts to challenge her?
Well, the problem is they love it when she loses it. To them, it's that's. She's the only one speaking the truth. The rest of them are just corporate shills towing the party line.
Yeah. Well, I look at, you see, there are some people that I think are going to get primaried or could even lose. And I remember I told you about a month ago that Lauren Boebert is incredibly unpopular in Colorado, like incredibly, like to the point that she might go out as a one-term representative, if she can go back to the goddamn hell.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. So here's the question, right? Lauren Boebert gets, let's say she does get, and you know where this is going, everyone. You know where this is going. And I don't want to shame sex workers because sex work is work. However, all that being said, and was that just teeing up this joke? Maybe. Not even a joke, a prediction. If Lauren Boebert gets out of office in the midterm elections, how long will it take her to get an OnlyFans page?
I mean, she doesn't already have one.
Oh, good point. Right.
Well, I always said, do you remember that ridiculous Catch Me Outside girl on Dr. Phil?
Yeah.
Are they gonna have a page together? Because
that'd be hot, actually.
I look at it and that ridiculous, like a thing that where she was at the CPAC and that I don't want to get the Fauci ouchie and I'm sick and tired of welfare when she grew up on welfare.
Well, that was a great meme.
Yeah.
I saw that she mentions the fact that she grew up on government cheese, right, and grew up on welfare, and then she's like vowing to dismantle the welfare state.
Yeah. No, it's honestly with people like her, I cringe because that is the future of the Republican. Like I said, like I'm not a Republican and I never will be because but also I like that is what's now passing for what's the but it started with Trump. It really did, and this is just a continuation.
I will say this is that Trump was an accelerator. I mean,
Yeah.
the party was already lurching that way. And
I mean, you had Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity really being the voice of this party for the last 10, 15 years. And, Newt Gingrich, I would say, was the start of it.
Well,
what he did back in the
Tea Party
90s.
was. The Tea Party, I think, was when it went far right.
He was even before the Tea Party. Newt Gingrich, he was the first to really, in my memory, really use divisive politics and partisan politics to uphold progress. And it's just went to shit from there.
It's been building for years. For years.
Yeah. Well, it's.
let me just put in that, just piggyback off what Ray said. Newt Gingrich understood the World Wrestling Federation, or what is entertainment, the World Wrestling, professional wrestling aspect of politics, right? Large. He gave up these big speeches with no one there in the house because he knew it was going to be playing on C-SPAN. It would play to the crowd. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Glenn. What were you going to say?
I completely forgot what I was going to say now. Sorry.
That's the problem with freestyle, man. You get broken up on your momentum, and you're like, I'm just going to have to start over again.
Yeah.
I just blame the weed.
I don't smoke that much weed anymore, so I can't blame that. I actually had this friend shared this thing with it was about some guy saying that it was what the difference between liberals and conservatives. Liberals want to fix everyone else's problems before fixing their own, and I'm going and then he listed some other things, and my exact words were, is he trying to insult liberals? Because the worst thing you can say about us is that we try to help other people before we help ourselves, and that we strive to have a perfect country. We know it's not possible, but we strive to have a perfect. That is an insult now. Like that is considered an insult, and and it's like and he goes while right-wing people think that they should help themselves before they help anyone else. I'm going, I expound those beliefs. That's what I want to be. I want to help. We have a social contract with this world to help others. I spoke about the social contract yesterday. That we have the right, we have the responsibility to not think of ourselves, only ourselves. Think of other people, and you make that like it's like a it's like thing. I've used this line on people before from West Wing, where Jimmy Smits goes, "You call me a liberal like it's a bad thing. I take that baton and walk with it and run with it. I'm a liberal because I believe in that. Because I believe in just being decent to human beings. Whereas, at least in your country, the Republican, well, you see, what would one thing is our right-wing politicians.
You know what I will say is that conservatism isn't what you think conservatism is. You keep using that word, but I don't think you understand what that means.
Yeah.
Especially today's conservative. So, are you an evangelical? Well, it's highly likely that you don't read the Bible. If you're a conservative, it's highly likely that you haven't read the Constitution, that you haven't read the basic founding documents. And so let's talk about what these words mean.
We don't push in America just how important civics is. People aren't involved in the political process anymore. Just most people aren't, and I think that it's a huge problem on the right and the left, because what that does is it leaves a whole vast mass of people open to being radicalized very easily. I think once, like, if you involve yourself in the political process, even on the local level, then you start to get out there and meet people and interact with people from different stripes, and it's a lot easier to form empathy. But the problem is people don't. It's every 2 years, every 4 years they have an opinion, but then they go about their lives and they don't make time to actually be a part of the process.
Yeah. Well, you see, I'll give it to the Republicans. I'll give it to them. Like, I despise the majority of the people that are in the party right now. There are a couple good ones. I always forget the guy's name. The guy that's pretty much challenged everything that the far right has done. But they keep their base energized. They do it like,
They
now
can, because they have a lot of money behind them.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the nature of oligarchy, is that they can spend money because they're oligarchs, and they can keep the sheep, like barring, or barring or bar. I don't know, whatever sheep do. That's what they do.
Yeah,
and that's why the right's so organized. It isn't because of any characteristic, any personality characteristic of Republicans versus Democrats. It's more or less because there's money behind Republicans.
Yeah. Well, the Republicans feed their superstitious fears. Like, so they play on, hot button topics like abortion, LGBTQ plus rights, because that feeds their Christian convictions, and will bring them into the party.
Yeah. Sure enough.
Well, yeah. What I was going to say is that with them is that they know how to they play the game better than the Democrats do. They flat out do. The Democrats want to unite the country. The Republicans say, "Fuck it, we're just going to win."
I've always said that Democrats need to grow some balls and actually play the game that the Republicans are playing.
Yep.
I'm gonna quote what's his name, Jeff Daniels. If the Democrats are so goddamn good, why do they fucking lose all the time? from the most famous rant he's ever done.
Our policy positions, the vast majority of the country, even Republicans agree with them individually. Is we allow them to paint us as the enemy, whether it's a socialist or anti-God or whatever it is. They paint us as the enemy, and we don't fight back against that. Michelle Obama said it best: when they go low, we go high. Bullshit. Go low with them. Kick them in the balls, because that's what they're doing to us.
Well, the thing is this is that I love it when they call us socialists or communists. Like, I actually said to the guy, I go, and he didn't answer me because he couldn't define it. I go, you say that you call me a socialist, you call me a communist. Define either of them, please. Just tell me what they are. And then when they tried to define it, I go, no, that's capitalism.
Yeah.
No, that's capitalism. And
it's outright offensive when they call a corporate Democrat a capitalist, a liberal, a socialist. I'm with theoretically. I'm not a liberal, because I stand against capitalism. I think it's a great evil that needs to be fixed in this world. However we fix it, we need to fix it. Whether maybe it's not full blown out socialism, but we need to fix the crony capitalism that's going on in this world. So I don't consider myself a liberal, and yet they point that finger at all these fucking liberals crying socialist just to demonize people.
Yeah.
Well, for me, it's like everyone goes. I had this friend of mine. I deleted him because he was a Trump person. Like, I shouldn't have probably. Like, I was friends with him since he was like when we were in South Africa as kids. But anyway, he goes. He goes, that's socialism. I go, no, that is regulated capitalism. Now, in our country, we have issues. I'm not going to deny it. We have, but we regulate it. We didn't go into the financial collapse you guys did because we regulated our banks.
Yeah.
We didn't let Wall Street run the goddamn country, or our version of Wall Street. We regulated it, and capitalism, I think, done if it's regulated, works. Mm-hmm. I just don't think. I think there's too many countries that just let the mega rich dictate policy when it's and and then just spit in the face of the people that got them elected
and get away with the most
it's
atrocious crimes. Like if you look, like I've been looking at Harvey Weinstein, and just really going in depth to that, just how long this man was able to just operate outright viciously against human beings just because he was rich and powerful. It's disgusting.
Well, you see, the difference is that when you had the chance, you didn't do the right thing. After the collapse, Iceland jailed their bankers for what they did, whereas your bankers just walked free. I mean, it was ridiculous, and listen, it was. There were many reasons why. Like one of the things with the mortgages foreclosures was that Clinton, in trying to do a good thing, did a bad thing. Like you see, there's a difference is that as a left-leaning person, I liked Clinton as a president, as a human being. I don't know, I don't know what to believe about him and Epstein or whatever. Like, I don't know about that, whatever. But as a president, I thought he did a good thing. He tried to do a good thing, but it backfired because banks were giving people mortgages that they knew they were never going to be able to pay. That they should go, no, we're not going to give you this mortgage. You want a house, you can have a house. But
ninja loans, no income, no job needed.
You want a house, you can have a house, just not that house.
Yeah.
Just not that one.
If you're a moderate Democrat and you're able to get into the office of the presidency, you have to Trojan horse all of your progressive social democratic principles, basically, because you can't run like that.
And I will say, like Biden just threw a wrench in everything. It looks like they might actually try to do something about voter rights, but he just pretty much slapped the progressive wing in the face with his "we need more police officers" shit. I mean, the civil war in the Democratic Party is about to ignite red hot again.
Yeah. But you see.
I'm definitely a defund the police person. And
I have a problem with the slogan because it's not like people come to the conclusion we want to be libertarian and get rid of all police. That's not defund the police means that you're using resources more wisely, and maybe sending some social workers on a lot of these.
Sure, and there are certain communities we covered this on the show, on the early show. We've covered that there are a couple of communities already that are sending social workers.
Yeah, it's not like we're not the big L libertarians trying to get rid of police, but that's how they're painting it, and that's not the case. So I mean, he threw a wrench. I mean, this is going to ignite that fire between progressives and liberals again, and really, honestly, in a time when we need to be united because Trump's still out there.
Yeah. Well, you were saying about you don't like the branding, but I'm sorry that the progressives are shit at branding. Don't call yourself socialist. You're not socialist. You're regulated capitalists.
Well,
every one of that Green New Deal, it's not a socialist dream. It's a capitalist dream, a regulated capitalist ideal. That's what it is.
It's usually a bad mistake to use the slogans of your activist on the ground for your political agenda. You've got to redefine it, and you've got to put it into terms that are acceptable for people to accept. On the ground, things happen in the moment. And that's how these slogans arise. Politicians should be smarter than that.
I will say this about Andrew Yang is that when he first thought of universal basic income, he tested it. He tested it in the marketplace. He ran tests to see what was the best branding. And it turns out the Liberty dividend was something that Americans would like on the left and on the right.
What exactly is that? Sorry, I don't know. What's the Liberty?
It's universal basic income, basically the government giving you money, like a cash.
Right now that petition for the government to do the $2,000 checks monthly. I mean, it's like over it's either 3 million signatures or 5 million signatures. I mean, this thing is taking off. More and more people are starting to understand, or they saw what happened during this pandemic is, when you give the people more of that percentage of income, well, the economy can actually thrive in areas even during a complete shutdown. I mean, we've got science behind it now, I guess, is basically the thing.
Well, you look at it, I was combined off, I think it was I was combined off, I think, for over 5 months, like between the two lockdowns. Between 3 3 lockdowns, I think. Yeah, I was off for I think probably like 6 months combined, probably close to it, 6 months. I never had to worry about paying rent because I got my $2,000 CERB, which was the Canadian Emergency Response Benefit. And then when they stopped doing that, they went to another, which was a CRB, which was the Canadian Recovery Benefit. And both times I was getting, it's not a lot of money, but like it's $2,000 a month, but it paid my bills.
Sure.
I didn't have to rely on my girlfriend to pay all the bills. If everything, I got everything. I was never short on cash. I paid things off, and I still am clueless on how. Now I know how it was because Trump doesn't give two shits about anyone that doesn't make $20 million a year. Mm-hmm. Now, but how is it that any of these senators or representatives were reelected when they told their own constituents, "Fuck you, we ain't giving you nothing. We gave you your 2 checks, now shut up and vote for me"?
Because they've been force feeding them anti-welfare state for decades. You go to work and you work hard for your little pittance that you get for all of your hard work. These people, well, they're your enemy and they're going to hold you back from being able to get more of a pittance. They've been feeding them this bullshit. I've often wondered like how any worker in America isn't a socialist, and it's because they keep being fed bullshit their entire lives.
Well, you see,
they are fed that their little pittance is what they deserve, and they think it's enough.
Well, and this is an effect of Christianity, of Protestant Christianity too, of the work ethic. If you're not successful, then it's your own fault because you're not. That's definitely you're not working hard enough, and that's very That's very Protestant.
Yeah, yeah. But you see, I look at it as for a lot of people, like for the really poor that still vote Republican. Frankly, honestly, like I've given up on them. But it's for the what now passes for middle class. When people got absolutely screwed during the pandemic because their jobs closed down and the government wasn't helping them out, and they were kind of living close to paycheck. They were able to maybe go on a holiday every year, 18 months. Those people still voted Republican is the thing that absolutely like just blows my mind. Like after they got screwed big time, they still put in people like Mitch McConnell. They still put in people that said basically all these representatives and all these senators that basically told them to go shove it. You're not getting any more money. We gave you the pittance. How are you supposed to survive on $2,000 for almost a whole year?
Yeah,
like how?
Theo points out in the chat they believe in the American dream that anyone could become a millionaire. Indeed, it is an article of faith.
Yeah,
it's an article of faith. It's irrational.
Yeah,
and I mean, it's in reality, it's just really hard to get out of the social conditioning you find yourself born into. More than likely, if you're born poor, you're going to die poor. Now there's exceptions to that story, and they utilize these exceptions to promote this American dream. But yeah, like workers, they have this idea that, well, I'll make management and life will be better. But in the context of it all, when you compare what that CEO is making, what that board of executives is making compared to what you're doing for your sweat and blood, there really is no comparison, but people just aren't taught the right things as they're coming up. It's basically inherent in our system to be that slave class still.
Yeah. Well, you see,
even if it's theoretically possible that anyone could become a millionaire, it is by no means possible everyone is going to. So just think that I'm going to be the one that screws everyone else over, and that's a good thing.
Well, you see, the thing is, this is you see, it's always they look at, well, it's going to be me that gets the million, not them, and it's and also we're talking, just a quick thing to go back to what we were talking earlier about what we would consider not even like right of the right in Canada would probably be considered a liberal in America, and that's I think how far your politics has gone, which is scary as hell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I mean the Overton window's sitting over there with Hitler now. So.
Yeah.
Good point, Rage. Good point.
Yeah.
And that's actually, to tell you the truth, this is why I use terms like universal basic income, and this is the reason why I use unpopular terms like atheist. Is that I still want the channel, and I still want to be more about doing tip of the spear kind of stuff than, and that's why I have a bunch of Satanists come on the channel, trying to push things back over to the left. That's what I aspire to do.
Yeah. No, the thing is, this is that like Rage, like you were saying, the ideals that the majority of the country are in line with progressives. They just don't have people who know how to frame an argument. Now, I think AOC is one of the only ones that, while I disagree with her stance on the BDS movement against Israel, I 100%, like, she's one of the people that actually clap back. Like, she clapped back on Bobich, and she claps back all the time. And she because and they
she was
an
an old school activist, though. She's not a politician. She was an activist. She's becoming more of a politician, and that kind of scares me.
Yeah, but she's also smart, and that's why she can hit back at Bobich and that. What I always forget, that's the blonde idiot, because neither of them are smart women.
I want to touch on the lack of adequate branding for the Democrats versus the Republicans. Let's remember that the only reason why the Republicans are good at branding is because they have so much money in their favor, and they pay people to say the same words over and over again. The Democrats don't have that. So what can the Democrats do?
Well,
let me because I'm asking a rhetorical question. I'm asking a rhetorical question.
Oh, sorry.
I know what the answer is. It is, how does the small overcome the mighty? There are ways, and once again, it's like you have to adopt, like an insurgent army kind of mentality. You have to, be flexible. You have to be aggressive. You have to be getting, you have to approach and then go. It's a very complicated system, and because the Democrats are such a large party too, I don't think they have that kind of nimbleness. Small parties like the Green Party, for an example, or small groups, but the Democrats could institute small, nimble ways of winning elections, like Obama. The way that he was able to beat Hillary Clinton in the primaries, he was able to scoot around her in caucuses, right? So the Democratic Party would have to accept at a deep level that they are going to lose eventually, capital L lose, unless they start taking tactics and start acting like an insurgent army. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, just a quick point. The Democratic Party has money. They just don't use it properly, I think. They have billionaire backers as well. They just don't use it properly. But
oftentimes, most times, Republicans outraise Democrats 2-1, if not more.
Yeah. Well, also,
and it isn't just raising the money; it's where the money's coming from.
Yeah.
So let's say you have a bunch of small donors. Well, that's great if you're a Democrat, but that means you are only bound to like 1 million voices, let's say. But if you're a Republican and you only have 2 or 3 really big donors, then those are the people who pay, those are the people who you listen to, and those are where you get your marching orders.
Yeah, I mean, that's why Ted Cruz pretty much does the bidding of the oil companies. He's down there in Texas, and they pretty much, by their grace, he has power.
Yeah. Just a quick thing. It's a little offshoot because I was just talking about Boebert. There's something which I really don't like, way people are framing her, and I'm not defending her. Like, in any way, I'm not defending her. But they always pick on the fact that she got her GED. And the fact is that she got what happened was she got pregnant young, I don't like those attacks either. And she dropped out of ended up getting her GED. I think she's a despicable human being. But I don't like the left attacking her because she got her GED. She did the right thing. She didn't abandon the kid. And if she'd given up for adoption, I wouldn't have had an issue with that at all. But she took care of her kid. Whether or not I agree with her politics, I don't know whether it makes her a bad mother or not. Whatever. To attack her for getting her GED is disgusting.
I would not. The way how I feel it is that it's definitely, and people who know my material, who see me here on the YouTube or go over to my blog, know that I like to do clean punches on people, right? So I haven't approached her in terms of, she hasn't gotten her GED. However, as Lennon said, you cannot play at the revolution. And if other people decide to do that, and it's effective, and that's the most important thing. Is it effective? Is it creating resonance in the population?
Yeah.
Then do what you need to do.
Yeah, but I think you can beat her cleanly because she's a horrible person, a horrible politician. Like you really only just have to run someone. You could get primary her with a reasonable Republican. She might lose. Or
she's not going to be primaried by a reasonable Republican. It would have to be a Democrat.
Yeah. Well, what I mean is you just have to basically run, just run a clean campaign and go, well, clean as in like attack ads on her policies, not on her life, what happened in her early life, because like honestly she's becoming incredibly unpopular and probably could lose if you just go after her policies, because her policies are horrible. Like
once again, it would be nice to consider that people win elections on policy.
But
I think it would be nice to think that people are rational. But that's not true.
But I mean, it's like, I don't think, like you say, punch when you go high, when you go low, we go high. Yeah, you go low, but you don't go, like, you just go low and just call her out on all her stupidity. Because you could run a half an hour of clip of her of the dumbest thing she said, and you'd still be having a massive edits.
I have a thought experiment. So Glenn, all right, you have a button, and the button is basically Boebert will lose the election if you press the button, and by pressing the button, you create a scandalous story that is completely untrue. But by releasing that into the zeitgeist, by releasing that into her, into the population of voters, she will definitely lose. Do you push the button?
That's a tough one.
I would take let me tell you my answer. I would put my balls out, and if I could press that button with my fucking testicles, I would press it a million times, even though it hurt.
Yeah.
Maybe I'd get an erection with it too. I'm going to lose some subscribers when I say this, but I would do that. I would do it a million times. You know what? And I'm going to even be more unpopular. The Catholic Church still hasn't apologized for its role in the residential schools up in Canada. Yeah, I don't advocate.
For me, burning, I mean, we need to get rid of these people, but unfortunately, what I see is that these crazy QAnon Republicans are taking over the party. We might, Lauren Boebert might lose re-election, but then we might also get 6 more. Yeah. So crazy's taking over the Republicans. It's pretty much the end of them, I think, but that's going to take time. It's going to take time for that really to reverberate.
Yes, I would vote repeatedly, Theo, with my testicles if I had a chance.
Just a question. You see, this is the thing that kind of scares me, is that if she does lose, she might actually have a bigger platform.
Well,
she might have a bigger platform. She might have, because I guarantee you, Fox will put her on there because
Fox will OAN or Newsmax.
Yeah. And honestly, like it's to the point that she's bound by certain things as a politician. Not much, because
I want to ask Rage about my button question. You don't have to talk about your testicles at all, Rage. That was me. That was over the board. But would you hit the button?
I definitely hit the button without a doubt.
That's why we get along together. People say, "Why do you get along with Rage? He has such a different style than you." It's like, at our core, we both understand what needs to be done, I think. And
I've been fighting this fight for a long time politically on the local level, and I've seen. We've lost ground. The right has surged, but I think that surge is going to bite them in the ass. I mean, they are embracing absolute insanity right now. It's going to get worse before it gets better. But there's, I think, actual light at the end of the tunnel, and maybe one day America can actually not be so damn divided.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, this is like you say, would you press that button? I frankly don't think that you don't even need to make up shit, because everything she says out in the open is so completely crazy.
Within the confines of the thought experiment.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it should be easy to defeat a person like Lauren Boebert. She has so many pictures out there with her and a group of white dudes throwing that OK sign, wearing their sovereign citizen, symbology. Plenty of quotes out there from her QAnon support, crazy shit that she said. Unfortunately, half of America, we only have two parties, and one of those major political parties is losing their goddamn minds. Yeah. And I think even if she does become unpopular, she'll have Donald Trump come in there because she is a supporter of him, and he's probably going to win the election for her. And I think a lot of these he is starting to embrace these QAnon supporters a lot more because it's all he has left.
Okay.
He was embracing.
I'm gonna have to close the show in 25 seconds. Dr. Tom Foolery, do you hit the button?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, okay.
Yeah. No, you see, but
my goal is to turn you both into button pushers.
I push people's buttons. I like it. I like pushing people's buttons, just not that button. But yeah, it's like I said. I think that, she's easily beatable. Like even if you got Trump in there, like. Trump's popularity is big with his base, but he's losing. He never was really popular with the big thing, and that's the thing. Like, what's going to happen? What people were saying is, this is going to be this in 2 years or a year. This is going to be where we're going to know whether or not we actually. Trump's popularity, because if he goes into these places and these people get their ass handed to them after he gave them their support, maybe the party then swings a little bit more away from him if he doesn't succeed in getting these people elected.
Everyone, I'm going to have to go. I got to go to work. I got to feed my face and go to work. Thank you, panel, for showing up. Thank you
later, guys.
Tolerating my thought experiments, everyone. It's been greatly appreciated. Take care.
See ya.